Hello everyone, my name is KelSounds, and today I want to show you guys this Ableton project file that I was working on. I released the loop earlier. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the project and kind of just show my process a little bit. I think the first thing I'll start out with is the bass, because that's pretty much what kickstarted the whole project, was this bass preset that I made over here. And so when I was working on this bass, I pretty much threw a lot of effects on here, and I couldn't really get a sound that I wanted until I started modulating like the volume of the first lane here to get a different sound with the sawtooth that's being phase modulated with a second analog down here. But yeah, I couldn't really find a sound that I wanted until I just started throwing a bunch of effects on, and really it's just me tweaking a bunch of knobs and getting the sound that I want. So yeah, a lot of this project was just messing around inside of FacePlant until I got something that I wanted. But I'll show you some of the effects that I use. I like using parallel processing a lot. I used it for these 3 comb filters in here, and then I used it for another comb filter with filter table. I turned the volume down by quite a bit. And then, let's see. Actually, I think that's it for parallel processing. But, oh no, I lied. 2 more filter tables. Man, I really like resonance. And then, another filter table. So yeah, as you can see, this patch is it's a little bit chaotic, but it worked. Yeah, somehow it worked, and I got a sound I was satisfied with. But pretty much all the basses that you heard, so even this little like dun 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 piece right here, wait, let me open this track, is a variation of this first preset, and I just messed with a frequency shifter and messed with the curve of the modulation happening with this gain. I think I even added some more extreme settings with the shaper in here, and then I think I added another resonant bandpass with a filter table. So yeah, a lot of resonance going on, and distortion, and just EQing parts of the sound, then compressing it a whole lot. And then I have this second bass over here. I think there's like 4 or 5 different basses that I'm going to show. Oh, actually, I forgot to show you guys. I also added a audio effect rack doing parallel processing with a reverb to give it a little bit more space. And so if I turn it off, it sounds like this. So yeah, just to give it a little bit more room. But yeah, same thing with this sound. Just messed around with the knobs and tweaked some stuff to get a different sound. Then I have these little like filler parts as well. Oh, whoops, no. Probably doesn't kick until the second part. Oh, here it is. There we go, these little, which is just this same sound for the second part of the drop, which sounds like this. So yeah, I used this same sound. The only thing I did different for the second part of the drop was automate the decay to bring out the reverb in this filler part. And instead of this note being F0, I set it to D sharp 0, because the track is mainly in F0. And this one's at C0, or C sharp 0. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then these little like noise basses. Oops, that's a layer. Also a variation of the first bass. Just mess with the frequency shifter, the harmonic, and phase modulation as well. Mess with the curve. So yeah, for the gain modulation on this bass preset, I set it to 4/16, and then I wanted it to like delay a little bit or have this sort of like triplet sound. So yeah, I just kind of mess with that to get that sound. And then same thing with the second part of the drop. I added another curve and modulated the frequency shifter so it has like a little pitched up part to it. Okay, so I might have goobered up actually the second part of the drop for this faceplant. It's supposed to sound like this, but it sounds like this. So not as much movement. I think I was supposed to record it that way. So definitely goobered up on the drop, but that's all right. There's always next time. so yeah, I forgot to turn that modulation on. Not a big deal. I mean, it still sounds pretty cool, but I definitely like it this way better. Add some more movement. And then I have this layer on the bottom called Bass Beep. It's just a faceplant preset, doing phase modulation with to an analog generator, and then I cut out some of the highs with a filter and some of the lows with a low pass or a high pass filter. Distorted it a whole lot, put an LFO on it, and just layered it on top of this bass. Actually, another thing about the layers is I have a background group here, and it's just this these two sounds. This little beep noise. Added a shifter and an EQ8, and then this sort of like woof noise. This isn't a dog barking, it's actually just some unison. This is from a sample pack, so I just drag and dropped and layered it, EQ'd it, and all together it sounds like this. So yeah, pretty cool. I also want to show you guys the drums. The drum loop stays pretty much the same for the track. I didn't really switch it up too much, just kind of left the loop going throughout the whole drop. So yeah, it's just drag and drop samples from previous sample packs that I've created. Nothing really too special. I guess the snare is like the only special thing happening. So I had the snare group, or the snare / clap group, which is a kick that's been EQ'd. Actually, this is the same kick for the drop, I just EQ'd it. Or I didn't EQ the kick. It looks like I just shortened it. Man. Oh no, yeah, it is EQ'd because I put it in a group. Okay. Alright, so yeah. So this track doesn't have anything in it, but in the group it has an EQ. And then all together it sounds like... Okay, sweet. I was like, man, am I goobering up again? Then I have this clap, and then I have this snare, and then of course all together. And actually, for the side chaining that's happening, I went ahead and put an EQ on this snare clap group and took a look at where the snare was most prominent. Then I cut that EQ8, put it in the sidechain group, and did some automation with the gain to kind of make room for the snare / clap thing going on here. That's that pretty much. Oop. And then I also have these little percussion fillers that are pretty nice. So this one, it's just some tom drums, and same thing over here. Pretty much for the majority of the track, just the same tom samples. Nothing really too special going on there. And then I have this FX group, which are also dragged and dropped samples from previous sample packs that I've made. I have this beep thing to kind of just fill things in a little bit more during the fillers. So yeah, they're kind of just there. And then I also want to show you guys my master channel. I I don't know how to master really. I just kind of, I don't know. Usually when I mix a song, what I'll do is I'll turn it down a whole lot because, well, like dubstep or any kind of electronic music, it's already pretty loud, so I just turn it down a lot. And then what I'll do is I'll just start mixing it that way. So the first thing that I did was added a utility and turned down the whole track by -3 decibels. Then I EQ'd it, took out some of the muddiness around 250 hertz, and I did a high pass cut at 20 hertz because you can't really hear anything below 20 hertz. Someone told me not to do this on a master track because of course it messes with the phase, and I totally agree. I just I don't know, I kind of played it back and I didn't really think it sounded too awful. I kind of like the color that EQ adds to a track because this track already has like a lot of distortion, and I kind of like the way that sounds. And as you can see, I added another saturator, turned up the drive by 5, and I set the dry wet to 2%. So I did like some pretty subtle distortion just because I like that crunchy, like metallic feel to the track. But yeah, that's, wait, where was I? Oh yeah, so I added a -3 dB dip with a utility gain, did some EQing, cut out the lows, and cut the low in with a high pass to bring out the sub a little bit more, kind of just clean it up. And then I added a saturator and just turn it up by a little bit, like 2%. Too much will really mess the track up. Like if I mean, I guess I could, but I don't really like it saturated too much. So I just add a little bit of the effect. And then of course our favorite best friend OTT, set it to 8%. And then I did parallel processing with a glue compressor, set the track to -15 decibels, have some pretty aggressive settings. The threshold is at -30, I set the makeup to 5, and the release pretty much all the way down to give it some more of a kick. But as you can hear, like the kick is definitely a whole lot louder. So yeah, just subtly mix that in with the original track. And so together it sounds like this. Just a little difference. You can't really hear it too much, but that's perfect because I don't want to add too much. I just want it to be subtle enough. And then of course I just compressed the song with a dynamics. So the threshold here is set to -20, and I set the out to 2.5. Turn down the release a little bit, just to compress the whole song a little bit more. Then I EQ'd it again, did more of a dip around 250 hertz at -3 decibels to get rid of some more of the muddiness. And I always like to put my bass in mono, so I added another utility, put a bass mono on it, and set it to 100 hertz. Then the last thing that I did was added a limiter and set the input gain to 5 decibels. Just because I had a lot of headroom to mess with. So originally it was at like around -6 to -5 decibels. So yeah, I had a lot of headroom to mess with, so I just set it to 5. Just because I already turned down the track by a whole lot, but I wanted to make some room for the effects and the mixing for the master, just because throwing on effects and EQs and saturators and all that jazz can make your track boost in volume. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Before I end the video, this project is going to be available for Sound Squad subscribers, so if you want to go ahead and download the whole project file, you can. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.